to Hotline FN, episode 17 of the live call-in show for your hot takes, bold predictions, and unpopular opinions surrounding the competitive Fortnite scene. We've got some incredible guests. We've got our fantastic co-host, Balla TW. I say guests. It's never been guests. It is guest singular. My bad. I hate to get hopes up like that. But before we bring everybody on and we start getting this show rolling, we need to talk a bit about your role, your responsibilities in this social media transaction going on here, all right? This show relies on your call-ins. That means you've got to hit ! Hotline FN. That means you've got to follow those instructions to get into the Discord, to join the topic screening channel, and put in your hot take, your bold prediction, or your unpopular opinion. I want to reiterate for the nth time at this point that this isn't an interview show. A question just like, what are your thoughts on X, isn't going to get us anywhere. We want to know your thoughts so that we can talk about it. So, ! Hotline FN, get that rolling. With that said, we have our, I've said it before, I'll say it again, the most magnanimous, the incredibly loquacious Balla TW, and then we've got the one, the only, he can't contain himself till he comes on. He's ready right now. We've got SEN Highsky. What is up, gentlemen? How's it going?
Yo, what's up? It's going good.
What's up, boys? What's up? All right, it's been good morning. This is early, so for you guys it's a noon, right? For most of you east fellas it's noon. EU, I don't know what time it is for you guys. I imagine
it's Saturday, Tim. It's early no matter what time it is.
Good point. Good point.
Way too early to be up and doing a podcast, but we're doing it anyways. Trying out a new time. So we'll see. EU friendly for the first time, which is nice.
Yeah, for the first time ever. Well, not first time ever. We did like one on a Friday afternoon once. That was true. That was interesting. But we'll pretend just for the sake of it being special. So Balla, it's been a week. Man. What have you been up to since then?
Streaming. We did a VOD finally again, and then today and yesterday I built my new stream PC, which is awesome. Running really well.
Yeah.
Higher quality stuff. That's basically it.
Heck yeah. I mean, that's a good spot to be in. Hi, Sky. How about you, man? What have you been up to this week? I mean, obviously something pretty big is I'm looking at this, the T1 leaderboard here, and I'm seeing a certain Mr. Highsky up here on the top. What have you been up to beyond that?
Basically just playing 12 hours of Fortnite a day, living the best life I can, you know?
Yes.
Grinding the leaderboards.
Beautiful.
I wish I could live that life.
Right?
Weekend, you know, Aswick finally came back to the house, hanging out with all the boys.
Hey!
Having a good time.
That's fantastic,
so
actually.
You guys are filling it up again, huh? At the SEN Highs. Who all is
the
there?
SEN Highs.
SEN Highsky. It's mixing my tongue all up.
It's me, Karos, Aswick, and our manager Escape Plan.
Okay.
Honestly, all great guys. I love living here.
Gotta be a good time. I saw all this stuff that was, I guess, the last iteration of the SEN House or wherever it was when you guys were before TwitchCon, I guess. And there was some shenanigans. It's good stuff. Is more people joining you guys? Animal, people like that?
Animal comes here on tournaments. He prefers to stay home. We also have a Falter moving in. Aspects on teammate.
Yep.
We might have more people. We don't know.
Nice.
We're trying to see.
Cool. Awesome. Cool. That's fantastic here. As we get these callers rolling in, Highsky, can you tell me a bit about this grind here for top of the leaderboard here in Prac? I mean, you've got more points almost by 1,000. There's a bigger divide between you and first place than there is between first place and seventh, you know what I mean? Or second place and seventh. Like you guys are far and away up here. You got most kills. You're tied for most matches played, so it doesn't even look like necessarily you just, were the ones who grinded the most, and that's why you have the most points. Like, how are these scrims going for you, and how did you leverage it into this position?
I'm thinking the meta right now is really IGL heavy. And I think I'm a really good IGL. Kind of just put my team in good positions. I'm playing with 3 amazing players, honestly. The whole team keeps their own. They listen to me. But, we play our game. We've been playing for a while, our trio. We picked up Clicks. I think he's a good addition. He's a fragger. He gets kills when he needs to get kills. But just gotta keep going. Not a lot of people know how to play this meta. They don't really know how to play against triple nade RPGs, and I think we've worked around that pretty well. And we
Ooh,
kind of just play our game, and that's where we are right now.
hell yeah. What's the final squad right now? Oh, sorry, Balla.
No, go ahead. Final squad.
Me,
Let's
Clicks,
Yeah.
Commandment, and Creo.
Nice.
Yeah, so just adding that clicks dimension is pretty cool. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of the games. To be honest, like the leaderboard right now, in my mind, I don't know what you think. I don't think it matters that much. I don't think it means much being at the top. Sure, it is something. You guys are clear far and away one of the best squads. But looking at this, a lot of people are starting to make judgments. So like, yeah, this team is the best. This team is the best. But at the end of the day, they're just practice games.
Oh, agreed. Hey, we look at trios, man. We were one of the most dominant trios in customs, and we didn't even qualify. Anything can happen,
Yeah, definitely. All right, we got our first question ready. This is a repeat caller here, so I'll just bring him right in. Hey, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, hi. I'm Alric. I'm calling from the UK. It's an EU-friendly time for once, and today I'll be talking about I'll be talking about various players and why chemistry is important in competitive Fortnite.
All right. Well, what's up, Ulrich? We wanna hear it. What's your take, man?
Okay, so you'll remember when just after the World Cup, Stompy decided that he was basically fed up of playing with Shinken, mostly out of boredom and kind of the lack of reputation of his teammate, and decided he'd play with Aqua, who is probably one of the better Austrians. He decided he wanted to play with Aqua, and both Stompy and Aqua kind of wanted to do this. So both of them dropped their respective teammates, both of whom they had like brilliant chemistry between each other. They won the World Cup for a reason. So then, in the end, this kind of didn't come to fruition because duos never really happened, and it was trios, and the trio was always going to be Aqua, Stompy, and Shinken. But nevertheless, they played with Shinken, and Shinken played a very big part in that trio going on to win FNCS. Another trio which did very well in FNCS was Balla EU, Tohai, and Caxi. Now, Tohai and Balla EU are both two very big names, mostly because Tohai is part of an org, and because Balla EU qualified for the World Cup and did very well in it, for that matter. However, his teammate Caxi isn't as well known. However, he actually played a really, really, really big part. He, if you remember the first game of the FNCS finals, it was MMB on height, and below, basically slaying out solo, it was Falconly, who's now Mitro's teammate in his squad, and Caxi. And Caxi played a really, really big part in that trio, but because he was not a big name, they decided we're going to part ways with him and try and find some bigger names. So they played with, ironically, Shinken and Savage. Yeah, Balla, what were you going to say?
So I'm hearing all this. And we get the great history lesson.
Yeah,
So
but
I appreciate
I've got
that.
a
But
point.
what's the point here, Ulrich?
My point is that Mongrel, Mitro, Stompy, and no, it was Mongrel, Benji, Stompy, and Aqua didn't work out. They dropped it, and they went back and played with Shinken again. Then Mr. Savage, Bella EU, Tohai, and Shinken didn't work out. Shinken left, and they went back and played with Caxi. And now both squads just now finished in the top 25 in the open round, and that is because they both have such great chemistry together. And I know that no pro player would even consider listening to some irrelevant bot like me, but I think that they really need to stop. They really need to stop just saying, oh, well, one of my teammates isn't a very big name. He isn't a very good player. I'm going to drop you and try and make a god squad of big players. Because in practice, it doesn't work like that. That chemistry which you've built up over like years,
Okay,
almost years
so
of
you're
being
saying
duos.
chemistry is the most important thing, and a lot of these pro teams are just kind of getting rid of that and making teams to make god squads. That's the point.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And chemistry is very, very hard to build up.
Hi Sky, what do you think about some of these god squads? Like we've seen it in NAA, right? Like this, even your teammates, like Booga and people like that, they tried. It was the same thing in NA, right? Booga tried with Zayt and Saf and didn't work out. Why?
Exactly what Balla just said. Like, yeah, exactly. That squad right there. That's four of like the best players. I'm not gonna lie, and that didn't work out. Looking at Benji, Mongrel, Mitro, that trio I think was the best EU trio, and they switched up on Mitro because they didn't think he fit. But in my opinion, I think he had really good chemistry with them. And now that Mitra found a good squad and they have good IGL, a lot of people think kids look at mechanics nowadays. Everyone thinks, oh, you have the best mechanics, we're going to be the best at the game.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie, mechanics don't mean anything a lot of the time. It's a lot of it's brain. You need to find people that listen to you. Kind of like clicks. If we had 4 clicks on our team, I don't think they'd ever even make endgame. So, like, you just need to help them get in. You kind of just need to play as a team and just outbrain people. Because in this meta, there's way too many things that can, ruin your games if you really make a mistake. Like quad nades, RPGs. And it is about all chemistry. That's why I think Stompy and Deshinkin will, I think, always be playing together. I feel like him and Aqua might be a good duo, but I don't think you ever can get the chemistry you have with someone. Kind of like if I ever dropped Commandment, I don't think I gave the chemistry I have with Commandment with anyone else.
Yeah, that's wild. I think it's also important to recognize that, like, chemistry is a hard thing to judge from the outside, right? Like, what looks like really good chemistry between a couple players, behind the scenes, for all you know, it could be knives and daggers, man. Like, I don't know. That's always something I have a hard time. I agree that it's crazy important. We've seen that in basically any team-based, from profession to sport to whatever. But it's easy to say that it's important. It's hard to say that these specific players don't have or do have a bunch of synergy. Like, why are they or why are they not playing with each other?
I think that's what you just said there, Tim, is like the most important. Like, not knowing from the outside is basically what we are all talking about. We have no idea how any of these things works. We don't know what Mongrel and Benji's opinions of Mitro with how they work together, because sometimes it might look like it works together or works great, or it works great in tournaments. Like, you can have good performances, but then after tournaments, you end up having disagreements, and that's not healthy for a team. And sometimes that's why teams break up. It might look like they have the best chemistry, but eventually it doesn't work out.
I think a lot of people were in the wrong about the whole Stompy thing. A lot of people were like, oh, you won World Cup duos, why would you do that? A lot of people remember, like, I'm not gonna lie, Fortnite is kind of a big RNG game at the same time. Yeah. So, like, they might have won. They're definitely all good players, but you have to respect the fact that he might have seen something better in Aqua, because Aqua's an insane player. Yeah. And hey, look, you have a long time until next duo thing, so you have to give him a chance. Like, doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah, especially if you've recognized a cap. You're like, yeah, we won this, but I don't think we're going to be able to keep up with people continuing to get better if we just stay how we are. Right? That's a potential too, right? It could not be synergy. It could not be immediately how well you're doing. It could be a future-looking thing of like, I don't see us getting a much better. I need to mix it up, right? So many possibilities.
Playing with someone for that long, I feel it could get boring. Maybe, like, if you play with someone new, you might get motivated to grind again,
Yeah.
Like, kind of like being in a relationship for 5 years compared to, like, 1 month in. People, a lot more energy in the beginning.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, Ulrich. Thank you for bringing this topic to us, man. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
And you.
For once, EU viewers actually have a rest of the day to look forward to. Could you imagine that? Imagine that. All right, Highsky, this is the time when Balla's grabbing the next caller, and it's my favorite time of the episode. This is where I get to ask you how you feel about breakfast cereal.
Not a big fan of cereal.
What? Like,
I used to love cereal.
talking?
I used to love cereal.
You still love cereal, but not anymore.
I mean, I feel like I've grown out of it. Now that I'm gaming a lot, I'm waking up really late, so I don't really find myself eating cereal anymore.
Grown out of cereal? Highsky, how old are you?
I'm 20.
You've not grown out of cereal. Get out of here, dog.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't eaten it ever. Like, every time I eat it now, I kind of just feel like it's something I've had, like, my whole life that I'm kind of tired of.
Oh, okay. I suppose that's fair. Balla, we ready for the next caller? Highsky doesn't like cereal, so he's not my friend anymore.
We're doing
Unless
this
it's Cinnamon
again.
Toast Crunch. Unless it's,
All right,
if it's
here's our
Cinnamon
next caller.
Toast Crunch, I like it.
All right. Hey, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, my name is Mullah, please. I'm calling from Texas.
Welcome back, Mullah. How you doing?
I'm alright, pretty normal.
Glad to hear
I'm
that you're doing
excited for the
pretty normal.
cup, I guess.
Yeah.
Or not cup, but yeah.
So what topic do you want to talk about?
My topic was, I wanted to know if you guys thought that solo loot routes for Chapter 2 are going to be better than landing at a POI, because now with the increased spawn rate of chests to what's seemingly 100%, as well as like materials such as like the big rocks that give 150, brick, and then like consistent river flow, you can pretty much map out where you'll go under any circumstance, in my opinion. So yeah,
I was disagreeing all the way up until you said river flow. I think that's a really cool, interesting concept to plan loot routes with river flow specifically.
well, because currently the river flow is like the main mode of mobility, so to speak, as in we used to have hoverboards and quad crashers and such, but now it's like you're using the river. And I don't know, I'm not too big of a fan of the boats because I feel very exposed to it, you know, but I mean they're decently viable, but not like amazing.
I don't know. What do you think, Highsky? Solo loot routes, is it better POI in Chapter 2? Is it better, specifically thinking about the 100% chest spawns, right? Better in POIs or better with scavenger routes?
Honestly, I'd probably have to say, like, I feel like that chest spawn rate kind of buffs both.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like it might have been risky. It might have been risky going the other way, because if you did like a small rotate and you didn't get all your chests, you kind of got screwed over more than if you landed at a POI.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'd probably go with landing on outskirts is better.
Well, the thing is that also there's a smaller loot pool. So, for example, if you open 6 chests in chapter 1, you could get like a lot of things that you didn't
Crap.
need, you know? Right. But like now it's like if you open a chest, you're
You
like
get an RPG, first chest.
like there's like 4 items you can get, you know, it's like you're chilling pretty much. And then cars and like the bridges everywhere. I don't know.
Yeah,
like, easy
yeah,
stuff
I
in
mean,
metal, you know?
there's definitely, I feel like especially things like brick, I feel like brick is easier to get in scavenger paths than maybe it was before. Before you had to plan your route specifically around like, where am I going to get my brick? Where am I going to get my metal? As I progress, you know, throughout the mid game and try to be set up as best I can for moving zones. But in this game, you know, you can find random single bricks that are giving, or, you know, boulders that are giving you 40 brick that are like tiny, barely poking out of the ground, right? I feel like it's so easy to end up anywhere on the map and end up anywhere else and just be like, oh, I have full mats. How did that happen? You know?
Well, the thing is also if you're planning a loot route, utilizing the rivers, the spawn rate of rocks near the rivers is like especially high, you know? So it's kind of convenient if you're fortunate to have this.
I feel like the move, honestly, in Souls is to stay away from POIs. It'd probably be go to like a nice rotate near a river, in my opinion. Especially with fishing in the game now. Fishing always seems troll to me still, but it's actually it's one of the most viable strats in the game. It gives you like the best loot almost.
It's super consistent.
It is.
Yeah.
And, like,
So
the
consistent, you can find it like anywhere. Like it doesn't matter where you go, you can pretty much get it as long as you have a body of water nearby. I think it's really, really interesting. But solo specifically, so like let's get into this, Mula, because we're trying to decide which one's better now, POI landing or scavenger routes. And in my mind, we Highsky said it buffed both, right? The other thing you got to think about, you talked about the loot pool, right? The loot pool being smaller, being more important. But what was I going to say about POIs versus scavenger routes? The less mobility is also a thing, right? Because with less mobility, your scavenger routes are going to be able to, like, it's not, you don't go to the snow area in season 8 and have ballers just devastate your entire path. Like, if you have something, you have a bunch of different loot options. They're not going to disappear just because there's a baller or drift boards or anything like that just taking your loot. You will be able to get a significant portion. So in my mind, I agree with you. I think the scavenger routes are better. I think we all said that so far. But I think for all 3 reasons that we said, mobility, loot pool, and just the fact that 100% chest spawn, I think scavenger routes are definitely better in solos.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
I wonder
you
who
can
that
speak.
baller could have been. It's funny. I said, imagine who that baller could have been.
I mean, that's true. You were like the original baller route guy. I forget to
I'll
mention this, but,
expose my strat before World Cup, and I got screwed over. I'm calling him out right now.
This is why it's taking so long to get Highsky on the show, you know? The seething internal rage against Balla, yeah. Icing his chances at World Cup.
Highsky, man, come on.
Nah, said we got Sentinels. Let's go. All right.
Yeah,
so
hype.
yeah, I think it's I can't imagine. But here's the thing with the POI, like
squads? Like, how about if we move it from solos? What do we think about scavenger routes and all the different other modes? And obviously, squads being the big one. Are scavenger routes viable or better?
I think that
there, like,
I don't
what?
think-
Obviously, you can't have 4, but you can't have 4 scavenger routes. But
Mula, what are you thinking?
Well, quite frankly, no, because unless you go for a scavenger route that encompasses like multiple things, like the different islands or like the mountains and such, where there's actually like sustainable loot, you know. But that depends on your definition of a scavenger route. Like if it's simply something that's not a POI, then yeah. But otherwise, I think it's possible that you can go to a POI and then have like scavenger loot afterwards based on things surrounding you that are looted, but not
Yeah.
full-fledged.
I think it's interesting because I think that there are still going to be viable routes, especially as you throw fishing in, right? Like that can just ease over all bumps in consistency or like lack of loot if that route involves enough of the high quality fishing spots, right? But I think that ultimately that there's still those routes available that can lead to good success. They're just less, right? In solos, I feel like there's 1,000,005 places you could land and start that scavenger path from. Versus in squads, I feel like you're more limited. There's less that I can think of off the top of my head, at least. I don't know. What do you think, Highsky?
Squad... Please go, Highsky.
Yeah, I agree with you in squads. I don't think going and landing on outskirts like that's gonna be viable. I've been playing the last 2 weeks. I've noticed in real games against like good players in especially these tournaments, you get tagged a lot. You'll just have kids. It doesn't matter how smart or dumb kids are. You'll always be having kids shooting you. And I don't think this is shield meta right now. This meta right now is RPG and shield. And if you land in outskirts, I don't think you're gonna be getting enough loot as someone compared to like landing somewhere bad. But let's go back to solos real quick. How you're saying the reason I don't think you need to land on a POI at all is like last meta, you needed to land at somewhere that was OP because of jump pads and impulses and all of that. Like you needed those items. You did not have those items, you were not winning a game.
Specifically because of the existence of really good POIs, like back before retail was a thing, back before Hamlet was a thing. That didn't really exist in solos. You could do those scavenger. Oh, also because of the power of scavenger routes, it reduced the other power of POIs. So that's a really good point.
Yep.
I think this map has done a really good job with like making POIs not as good as they need to be. Like I land at Slurpee, and it's a good drop spot. We only leave like 100 ammo each, and we're okay with that because like we get other things like beneficial.
Yeah.
Right.
Like last map, if you weren't landing at Block or Tilted Town, not Tilted Town, like Tilted, but it was actually Tilted or Retail,
Tilted?
you were in a losing situation. You were never gonna be able to win a game compared to the kids that were on a height with gold RPG, gold minigun, and they're mowing you down with their 900 ammo. You had no chance.
True. All right, this is interesting. Thanks so much, Mula. Thanks for bringing in this topic.
Thanks for having me.
Have a fantastic afternoon.
Deuces.
Peace.
All right, Ball, we ready with the next? Hey, there they are. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, I'm Mark. I'm calling from the Netherlands, EU.
Hey, Mark. Glad to have you. What did you want to talk about today?
Thank you. I'm here to talk about arena squads, and I really want arena fill for squads this season. I've seen on the comment Reddit that there's been a lot of people that like been supporting this. There have been a few posts about it.
I'm one of them.
I really think it's would be really nice and would be good for arena to have fill because for me as well, not even semi-pro, it's tough to just find people that are decent and just to play some squads to practice first of all, but also to find squad mates to maybe compete in the warm-up today.
Yeah.
I had an awful time this morning trying to find people on Reddit, on Discords, just to squad up, people joining in and then leaving because they found someone else and stuff. It's awful. And I think that arena fill would really help.
I don't think that you're gonna find a lot of argument, right? We've talked about it. If it wasn't last week, it was the week before that. I agree. I think that would be an incredible tool for helping to find players, right? There's very few games that don't have some kind of pickup ranked. I think that's a great, especially in tandem with how many events we have. I think it's a great space to have that. It boggles my mind that we still don't. And I think that it's going to be necessary for people to for comp scene to grow if it continues to be larger team formats like this. Otherwise, we'll continue to see stagnation.
Like the queue times,
I literally think we will. I literally think we will not have a great amateur pro or semi-pro comp scene if we don't have Phil in the competitive modes that people play and hope that it's competitive. The only like downside to this is maybe Highsky you'll agree, or maybe some other pros will agree, is that it might make Arena even worse than it already is, and it's pretty damn bad. Well, right now specifically it's not that bad, but that's just because there's actual matchmaking this season and everybody's trying to get it or get champs. But once that's done, it's just going to go back to being bad again. So yes, I agree, and we have to still figure out how to make Arena viable before Phil gets implemented. To me, probably. Otherwise, Arena is going to be the worst state it's ever been.
I don't know.
That's what my argument was going to be.
Yeah.
But the pros, they don't really play Arena. They just play now for the points to get to champs and play customs.
I think you'll be surprised, man. I think you'll be surprised how much pros play Arena, just because sometimes it's the only thing to play.
Highsky, how much squads Arena do you guys play?
Right now I'm only playing to get the points, but at the same time, like once we're done with that, I love queuing up with like just like the homies and just running it down on kids.
Totally.
It's kind of a lot of fun.
So Arena being worse isn't a bad thing for you then?
Honestly, it being worse probably would be like more fun, because like us as pros, we would love to just go on there and just dominate on kids who aren't that good, because that'd be fun. But like I feel like from people like his standpoint, if you're actually trying to get practiced and you're trying to fill, I agree with Balla. I think if Phil would kind of ruin it, I feel like it'd even be worse than it already is. And there's already like 30 kids like second zone, which is like not realistic or really good at all.
Sure.
So like if you fill, a lot of teams probably would just fill in to keep people they don't like. They'd leave the game, or they'd fill in with really bad people and they'd die and they'd rage quit. So like I feel like it's something that kind of come up to the players. It's not really on Epic's side. I feel like if they added Phil, I feel like it'd be up to the players on how that went as like a mode or like an option.
Yeah, sure.
No, I think that's a smart way to look at it. I think it's interesting too, though, because you've got, the way finding a team works right now. If you don't have people you already know, is you find them on Reddit, you find them on a Discord, you hop into a game. Maybe you play a little bit of creative. Maybe you just jump right into squads with 3 fresh people you found, and you just play a game. And you've spent all that time to play a game for 2 people to say, screw it, I'm not continuing on with this. Whereas Phil lets you jump right to that. Do we have any kind of synergy situation, right? Like do these people communicate? Do I enjoy being in the game with them? And you're there right away, and then you can requeue and do it again, adding people along the way as you go and trying to put something together. And so I think the boons for the scene, just the general, like what it could help do for the scene and growing it, if we continue in squads or trios, is more important than how it might make Arena worse practice. Because, like, let's face it, if you want good practice for events, you need to be playing scrims, 100%. Like wherever you're gonna find them.
And we'll compare to other games again too. Like the matchmaking systems in other games are good, and they have fill options, and that is how the majority of teams are made. That's how the majority of people find out about places like T1 or Atlanta scrims, or for CS, an example, it's how they found out about ESCA. They don't go. Like, there's a lot of people don't understand how many people are completely isolated from any sort of community besides the game itself. Yeah. So people finding out about Atlantis through their fill is the way to do it. That's how the organic growth comes about, because there's not people reading Reddit. They're not on Twitter. They're not talking to pros. Some of them are not even on Twitch. They're not even watching pros play. And they're all getting completely basically screwed when we go to FNCS squads, because they don't know how to find anything. We talked about this all the way back, Tim. I think your teammate called in and we talked about how to find a team and the issues with that. And trust me, and Mark, your question is also clearly, your statement is clearly showing this. People are having a hard time finding squads. They are having a hard time finding squads, and that has all sorts of ripple effects. Do you see on Reddit these days, like, how many people are like, squad sucks? Just for the sole fact that they don't even play it. They don't even know how. They can't get a team to play it, so they have no experience in it. So they think it sucks.
Yeah.
Dead in the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our takes on it. Thanks so much, Mark, for bringing this to us. Have a fantastic day in the
Have a good day, Mark.
Netherlands.
Good
Thank
question.
you guys too.
Peace out. All right, we got this next caller ready.
Oh, get this guy out of here.
Oh, hey, what's your name? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yo, I just wanted to say, hi, Sky. You glowing today, man. My man's looking fresh. Not gonna lie. God damn.
Ooh, killed him with
Wow.
kindness.
Nice.
All right, we got Shio Wager on the line. Shio, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I just woke up, watched some league in the morning.
Not true. You did not just wake up. I've been talking to you on Discord for like 3 hours.
I just got out of bed. I just got... yeah, my question today is, or the topic is about top 25 as a new threshold for finals. I think it's dope. Is it better than the old system though? Like, what's the changes? And then how does it kind of switch up?
What are you talking about when top 25 is a new threshold for finals? Explain that more, because I don't think people will automatically know what the hell you're talking about.
For sure. So, like, you know, the qualification system right now for FNCS is the opens to semis to finals on the weekends. Finals and trios was top 150 teams. Now it's top 25 teams going forward for Sunday. So my thing is, I like that. It makes it really interesting. Is it better though? And then how does it change up, you know, for competitive player motivation in the middle tier bracket of players, upper tier bracket of players who aren't and are making it?
Highsky, thoughts?
Honestly, top 25 finals is, I think, the best thing they've ever had in competitive.
Okay.
I've always been playing tournaments, and I hated, like, I've been watching VODs of other people that used to go to my drop spot, which was block, and I'd watch them go block 4 games in a row uncontested. And that week, I have got contested by 3 teams every game. It's kind of like a unfair balance, I guess. It's really, you have to like kind of just pray on hope and luck that some team doesn't land on you. But I feel like at the same time, yeah, exactly. You just have to hope for the best lobby. Or if you might die and you might sit in a 5-minute queue and you kind of just like lost out on a game compared to someone else because you died that one game. I feel like the top 25, because it's going to be custom now, it's going to be like a lot more like, if you die one game, it's not kind of the end of it. It doesn't ruin your whole momentum because like, it's just kind of like 6 games probably. And like, it's just all the same players. And you can like read the teams. Now you can actually like scout out, okay, like this is who's in my game. This is who qualified. Just by playing with them, like, oh, this team goes near me. They do this loot path. A lot more brain play. You can kind of work around people. I think it's much better.
You think that it like motivates people to like play though, in terms of, you know, the middle tier bracket of people who are trying to get to that point? Top 150 was attainable, but like if you week after week don't make it, you still want to keep playing Fortnite in a sense.
That's the key. That's the key. I think this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out over the next or over the next 5 weeks or whatever it is that FNCS is, because not only is the prize pool reduced for qualifiers, but also the Sunday finals is so much harder to reach. It was 150 teams in trios, which means I think it was like 5 lobbies or something like that. I can't do the math right off the top of my head because I'm a bot. But that was easier. 25 teams, guys. I don't think you realize how hard that is. That is very, very, very difficult in the grand scheme of things. So that's going to be the balance.
There's going to be top teams almost every week that don't qualify.
100%.
Like, I would not be surprised if my team just 1 week got unlucky, didn't play the best, and you know, watch even Booga, World Cup winner. I could see his team.
That's not the confidence I want to see, Highsky.
No, I'm just saying it because like you're right. Like top 25, you know, like top 25 is not easy to get. Like especially out of how many teams? 150 in the beginning, or is it 500 before that?
I
think it's 500.
That's a good question.
500 this weekend, but I think it's 200 for the
Going forward?
semifinals. Yeah, going forward. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's it's gonna make the last stage so much more competitive, more interesting to watch, better for the players, but it has drawbacks in the early
Well,
stages.
I think the balancing like the balancing point for that potential like attrition situation, right? Of like making it better, more competitive matches for like the people who are in those matches, which in my opinion is paramount, right? But able to also sustain a healthy scene under that level to continue to feed that. The balancing point is arena, right? If you start segmenting, if you find a way to segment arena better on skill, give it more of a ladder climb and incentivize reward, you've got something interesting to be playing outside of events that is a draw that will continue to make you better at the game, and then you're also just playing the events, right? Like right now it's almost got this weird focus of, and same with last season, of get to champs, and then arena like barely matters. Like it's there to play, it's better than pubs, but like all that matters is events, right? All that matters is events. And if you give some kind of incentive to playing arena, you're still supporting and growing that like middle ground scene, I feel like, while also being able to feed more and more into your events and keep them feeling a little more exclusive because you've got other things keeping competitively minded players who aren't the best yet. I don't know. I think to me that's the clear lever they should be pulling on. Make arena better, grow the middle ground.
Yes. The other thing too, though, is that the when you think about the pricing changes in context of top 25 and finals, it makes so much more sense because really the rounds before that weren't meaningful at all in terms of deciding who is doing what. So, and when you think about other systems, other tournaments, how they work, how qualifying systems work, we're getting down to basically now the Sunday part is like the minor or something like that, where sure, it's still a qualifier. Sure, you're still trying to qualify for like the playoffs or the or even the group stages of a major event, but you are, yeah, it's basically that Sunday finals are now the minors. They are now the hardest part, and that's essentially an extra layer where everybody's gonna be more interested. And so people need to stop thinking about qualifiers as a way to make money or qualifiers as a way to establish yourself, because you got to make the finals, the very, very finals, and then you've got to get top whatever it is for qualifying.
In your heat, yeah.
I think.
Go for it. Okay. Yeah, no, you go.
I think also it's going to be really good. I think it's going to define the difference between two players. I feel like some players, if they don't, 2 weeks in, if they don't make it anytime, it's either they're going to be two different kind of people. They're going to either be more motivated to grind and get better at the game to get to that point, or they're just going to be a quitter. And I feel like if they are a quitter, maybe then they didn't really deserve to be there. But like I feel like because a lot of people who are there, they put seasons in. They put a lot of seasons, like thousands of hours. And if they're not dedicated to that, then maybe someone else deserves it more than them. You know?
Totally,
Yeah,
right? There's always give and take. Yeah. There's give and take.
My follow-up for that, like y'all talked about Sunday a lot. What about Saturday? How does it change, like in terms of, 5-6 games in, you're not close to top 25. How does that dynamic kind of change in terms of people actually playing for it?
I think it's going to be honest. I think Saturday's going to be sweatier now. I think Saturday used to always use like a W key fest. Kids, like a lot of pro teams are like, oh, top 150. I can do that in like 3 games. That's not hard at all.
Yeah.
I feel like now it's going to be like top 25. Like, holy shit. Like, that's
We're trying from minute one. Yeah.
Like, hey guys, let's actually like try this time. Like, Saturdays aren't just going to be like a get on.
Ooh.
Just fucking 90 crank. That's not going to be like that.
Yeah. That's huge, because now people are gonna have to play Saturday serious as hell. Besides, like the very first round, which EU is playing right now, or is it over? I don't know. And NA is gonna start in a second, or in an hour or so. People are gonna have to play that. People are gonna have to play that relatively serious. That doesn't matter as much. I wish there was seeding. That's the thing that's missing. If the second round, boom, you're locked in. If you're not locked in, you better have taken your breaks. You better have taken your rest. There's gonna be strategies about like playing the first round as efficiently as possible, so you can just qualify in like 3 games or whatever it is. If you can qualify in 3 games, get off and take a break and then go play the next round. That's going to be important, man, because you have to play these second round games as hard as you possibly can. It will literally be the hardest qualifier part out of everything. I feel like even the Sunday finals are probably going to be easier because they don't mean as much. They mean a little because there's prizing on the line. But if you're qualifying for those very, very last Sunday top 25 customs, you're making probably enough points to qualify for the heats. We don't know the system yet, but like you don't actually need to play those games as hard as you do the other. They're good practice. and there you obviously want the prizing, and that's where you want to place top 1. But technically, you don't need to play those as hard as possible to qualify for the actual FNCS finals.
One thing, going back to the main question, top 25 itself. One thing I really like about it is back in the old trios, you'd win a game 20 kills. You'd be like, oh my god, that was insane. You'd go to look at the leaderboard, and boom, there's 30 other teams who just won a game with 20 kills. It's kind of just like you did really good yourself, but so did 20 other teams. I feel like now with the whole custom kind of thing, if you do good, you know you're going to be in first place. If you won that game with 15 kills or 10 kills, you know you're going to be at the top because you're the one who just pushed everyone that could have been beating you, but you like beat them. I don't know.
Does it go both ways? Does it go both ways? Like if you do poorly in one of those games now you're feeling like great, everyone's got such a head start. Like you've just watched who won that last game. You know where they're all at point wise. I could see that also like being demoralizing. You know, higher highs, lower lows. What do you think, Shayo?
I think lower lows is like not as true because like it's not like there's if one team wins and you like if one game session kind of happens, right? In the system we had in trios, that's multiple teams and multiple games in that session going forward and having an advantage. But like in top 25 Sunday, every kill in the lobby affects everyone the same way. Like there's not another team in another game that's also getting ahead. So you being last is just, you know, people in your lobby. You still there's a chance that, you know, it's strategic now. It's not like, as Highsky said, there's not a random bug guy getting 30 kills in another lobby that was easier. Everything's happening in your lobby. Like it's more control, which is dope.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what you want to fight for. In a BR, it's all about
especially
control.
like in a real like 6-game custom. A team, especially in a game like Fortnite, you're not gonna win every game. I hate to say it. So like,
what?
Teams that do good in lands, kind of like they usually win like 2 games and like that's it. They really have like 2 pop-off games and that's it. Kind of like look at Aqua and who was it? The one Stompy,
Shinken.
Aqua and Shinken.
Or, sorry.
No, Aqua. And Nyrox. I'm sorry, I feel like an asshole.
Yeah.
Aqua and Nyrox. Yeah, but like no. Looking at Stompy and Nyrox, Aqua and Nyrox.
Aqua and Nyrox.
Like they were. Look at them. They were doing really bad in World Cup duos. Like they were down there, and they just had 2 pop-off games. Like they came back, and they flew up the leaderboards, and they took control of that lobby. That's like that. Like they couldn't have done that if the team that was in first place, they and Saf, was just in a whole nother lobby, and Stompy and Aqua and Nyrox couldn't be there to stop them. Like you have control to stop the people that are beating you at the time.
That was missing. That was missing from online qualifiers the entire time. I can't tell you how difficult it was to watch and cast these online qualifier games for World Cup and knowing it's like, okay, even if he does well, this guy, they're all still in different games and they could still have huge games in these ones.
We have no idea how this
doesn't
sets
matter what you do in this one. I have to be watching 5 different games at the same time to really understand what the heck is going on. So even from a simplicity standpoint and from a viewpoint standpoint, the online qualifying system was tough, and not having this custom stage at the end was really bad for the rest of them. You know what it did? You know what it did? It made World Cup trash. There's a statement.
Whoa!
It made World Cup trash. There were so many players who didn't deserve to be there. No offense to everybody who was there, but there were so many bad players at World Cup.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Oh my! Hallelujah!
There were so many bad players at World Cup because we didn't have a custom stage, and that made World Cup. Sure, those games were stacked, but that was only because there was millions of dollars on the line, and not because the players were the best in the game.
If you're a pro player,
like the pressure was on. That's why.
Not honestly, from an outside standpoint, as a pro player, if you looked at World Cup games, the practice games we played were almost more stacked. Those games were honestly not as stacked as they should have been for $3 million on the line. A lot of kids, like I was watching some kids, and some of them didn't even know what like 90 looked like. It was kind of bad. It's like, hey, they qualified. I can't really say much, but I agree with Balla. I feel like with the open qualifiers, it kind of was like a one hit wonder kind of thing.
Well, this kind of
really lucky.
This kind of segues into something Joey in chat has been saying, right, about how we have less board slots this time around, like leaderboard point slots in the finals versus not Sunday finals but finals of the FCS, the Heat section, and more slots are given away based on top 10 performances. How do you guys feel about that? Obviously, top 10 performances are more random, more RNG, more chance for those sorts of situations to happen.
I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I wanted to go the opposite direction. I wanted
more
consistency
leaderboards.
points
Yeah.
than this. What it does is it makes people more interested in the qualifiers, and that's good, I guess. But then it also ruins the finals. It does the same thing that we just talked about that happened at World Cup. So I don't know, man. Again, you have to remember Epic's philosophy. You have to remember Epic's philosophy is I want people to have exceptional performances, but they don't care about the consistency. They want these stories to just like appear out of nowhere, out of thin air.
Out of thin air.
Like, yeah. No, like that's what they want. They really do want that. They don't want people to be able to be the best and just constantly win everything. They want these stories. They want the Butters from Secret Skirmish story. That's what they are interested in. So the format needs to kind of agree with that. The customs final stage doesn't. But what does is them flipping the page back and being like, yeah, it's now more people are qualifying through pop-off performances week to week. But at the same time, we have to remember, guys, that the format incentivizes the game much more. So like every weekend, people are going to try harder because there's more slots up for line for actually performing well that week. And if you don't do that, you're suddenly in trouble because nobody's going to take those final games seriously.
Yeah, and you're still incentivized to play consistently. You're just rewarded for pop-off games within that. So still aiming for consistent performances on those Sundays is going to be far and away better than just trying to get your one lucky week. What were we going to chime in with here, Highsky?
I think one thing right now it's kind of scary about the squad season is the prize pool. I feel like a lot of people look at this prize pool right now and they see how low it is. And in my opinion, it's not like it's just enough. You have to get to the finals to make the money. But a lot of people I feel like are going to look at the prize pool and kind of be like, that's not even that much money, only 4,000 each. Which like you look at other esports, like we're still getting a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But like I feel like a lot of people are going to look at that and not even try. So like we'll kind of see how it goes, you know. I do agree with Balla. I think consistency should be more than just having a 6th place one time and making $50,000. I think that person should probably have gotten that 6th place, and he might not have qualified for 3 of the weeks. Do you think that guy deserved it more than Snood, who got 8th place 3-4 times, or Dwifo, like some of the most consistent players in the game, at like the best? And you know,
Animal, your team. I don't know if you just mentioned it, but like all these guys.
Sorry. I literally DM'd Animal too after he didn't qualify. I was telling him how good he is. I was like, dude, like you deserve this more than anyone else. Like that Animal's a grinder. He was out of the threshold even in duos, like this close every time. But like, hey, that guy who got 4th place duo week but didn't qualify for 4 of the other ones, that guy deserved it more. I don't agree with that.
Something else. We're just talking about we're just riffing on this custom stage and just the format in general, which is fine. I like it. Something else that I think probably is interesting is the meta weekend to weekend for these top 25 teams. If there's a consistent, top 25 that end up qualifying for it, there's gonna be weird things with drop spots, right? Like one weekend, Highsky might get contested by 2 teams, and all of a sudden these guys all struggle that weekend, but the next weekend they can make their adjustments. They can even do things like during practice, try to figure out and try to push these people off so that they don't have the same thing to happen again. That's going to be a weird dynamic that I don't think anybody's really considering is how you can change week to week. I don't know if it's something that you want to like focus on, just like forcing and making sure first weekend you're going to get your drop uncontested the rest of them, right? You're going to go to the best spot possible and just do as much as you can to win that spot and push everybody else and say, yeah, I'm going to drop here no matter what you do, so that the rest of the weeks I'm going to have it uncontested. It's going to be an interesting element to weekend play that will be pretty fun to watch.
That's kind of when it comes to pro scrims. Like a lot of the teams that will qualify are pro players, and they scrim a lot of the time. So like we can push people out of our drops, like we alpha our drops, but there always will be those teams that do qualify that are the story for Epic that have never even been seen in the pro scene before. And they would never have had that chance to push teams out. That's the only downfall about Discords, is that team doesn't have the chance. So like we're kind of at a benefit being in a Discord and being like known as like the pros.
Unless
so, like,
you get one of those teams on their pop-off day landing on you, who you could never have prepared for because of the Discord play, right?
Exactly.
So it bites both ways, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's risking. I don't know what to say about that.
Risk
Yeah.
reward. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, Shio, for bringing in this topic, man. Love you, brother. How many flowers are on your shirt right now?
0. I got a mustard
God.
stain. That's about it.
Damn it. Get this guy
All right.
out of here. You don't even get to finish saying his goodbyes.
I
The
love
last
Shao.
piece of that was a perfect segue into the next topic. We got one more, so let's do it.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Skintel, and I'm calling from Boston.
Skintel in Boston. Hey, what do you want to talk
Not
about
too
today?
far from me. Let's go.
Hey.
So I was just wondering if we should I guess sweat in general for in open court scrims, because I feel like you need the most private of the private scrims ever, just to I guess practice.
For it to be, are you saying for it to be worth your time to play seriously? It may not be worth it in open scrims. Is your take?
Yeah, yeah.
How long have you been playing, Stinson?
Yeah.
Stinson, how long have you been playing for?
Oh, since season 2.
Yeah. See, so I started playing season 4. I started grinding FNPL. That was the open Discord. Grinded that for about a month and a half, and I excelled in it. I got invited to Prac and I just kept making my way up. And everyone that you see or you look at as a pro player, they did start in those open Discords.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people did and just kind of get a free pass.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just a grind that pays off. I do understand what you mean by how it's private of the private, but at the same time it's not really private because a friend groups and everything. It's more of those players have proved themselves.
Yeah.
But I do think you should be sweating in the public courts. I feel like that's where everyone starts. And hey, if you're good enough, you should be able to go right through those public courts.
Yeah. I mean, if it's the best practice you have access to, then you should, of course, be utilizing it to the fullest, extent possible for you. I don't think that there's room anywhere. If your goal is to really be getting better, and your goal in a moment, the reason I'm playing right now is to get better. It doesn't matter what you're playing. You should be trying as hard as you can, even if it's Team Rumble, because that's all you got time for before work in the morning. Whatever the situation is.
But when you're in open scrims, there's a lot of those, for example Atlantis, there's a lot of those kids that just shoot you out of the air before a half and half out.
You're in Boston. Why are you playing Atlantis? We got T1, baby.
Oh.
You want up, baby?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm doing that too. I'm just trying to get my weight if I can get into prac. But
Totally.
Yeah.
But-
So here, just straight up, T1 is the only way to get into prac right now. There's no, you're not gonna get in there by good placements and anything else. You're not gonna get in. You just have to play T1. So just a little plug for that. You definitely have to be sweating to qualify for T1.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this. We just talked about how people who are not in prac court are going to struggle to form themselves a meta in the final stage of custom. So is not having this
What's
I'm
happening?
blue dabba dee dabba no, they aren't getting the practice.
Yeah.
There's nowhere for them to practice a real custom stage, unless they, for whatever reason, play in a tournament, which are very rare and far and few between. So what can they do to practice that? I don't know. I think still open customs are the best way to do it, but they're missing that element of strategizing game to game.
But in your last hotline, I think it was with Bucky, I'm pretty sure maybe. But yeah, you were just talking about how just how if you try and open scrims, you were saying how I think you were saying on a stream if you really want practice, you have to go and prac, for example. And I really thought about that.
So here's the thing for Bucky,
Yeah.
open scrims for Highsky, they're gonna play them and they're just gonna doggy on them.
You don't want them in your open
it's just-
scrim. Yeah.
Yeah, you want them not to play it, and they need to play practice because they're not getting any practice by playing open scrims. I mean, slightly, they're getting a little bit of practice, but they can just run in there and just make the game that was normally 50 half in, half out has 25 half in, half out.
We're back. Honestly, because you said Bucky, Bucky, I have a lot of respect for Bucky. He's grinding, man.
I feel a
That
butt
guy-
coming.
That guy has put work in. I'm not gonna lie. He was. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the time during maybe I guess when he was on nights and stuff, he wasn't really looked at maybe as like the best player. A lot of people really kind of thought he was just kind of like another player, but he put his work in, man. That guy, he grinded.
Yeah.
He grinded. He put
Especially-
hours in, and look at him now. He proved himself.
And Balla, do you see that video? I think it was in the World Cup Opens, like how his dad helped him and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
We've
think he's
talked
just
about
like a good player, like overall. Fucking.
100%. All right, boss. We're gonna let you go.
Alright.
And
Thank
I
you.
don't know if we'll discuss this a little bit more, but we've only got a couple more minutes. So thanks, boss.
Yep.
Skintel. Appreciate it, man.
Cool. All right, guys. We're just about out of time. We got events starting here in an hour, and we definitely can't keep Senior Highsky from his all-star performance in the warm-up here coming up. Isn't that right? The old hotline good luck charm. It's coming through clutch, just like a different elevate. So,
And before it doesn't make semis.
Hey,
doesn't even make round two.
Opportunity. Are you guys gonna sweat these, or like what's the deal? Like, there's no money on the line. There's nothing on the line besides just checking out the format and playing.
I
some
mean,
good games.
honestly, right now my max performance had 4 hours of sleep, so I'm really ready to game right now.
Oh, yes.
ready to frag.
Crack the Mountain
Fuck
Dews,
it.
baby. Talk about Mountain Dews, baby. Let's go.
You should drink that 2 liter a day, you know? That got me cracked.
Yikes! This is my dream after the show. All right, Highsky, thanks so much for being on the show, man. What are you gonna be up to in the coming months, and where can people see you getting up to it?
What's up, man?
Hey, brother.
All right, now we need that sponsorship. Where you at?
Damn it! I take
Sorry,
it
what was
back.
your question?
Stop making it in the final edit. Hey, the question was, plug your shit, dude.
Oh, it's Highsky on almost all the social medias. But, you know, yeah. I was going to say something, but I couldn't think of it. But it's Highsky on all social medias. Thank you so much for having me on, man. This is actually a blast. I had a lot of fun being on here.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's kind of cool listening to anyone's questions and talking to them.
Yeah,
Actually, really
it's a cool way to engage with the community and bring the pros closer, I guess, in a lot of ways. So glad to have you.
There's not many times or many places where you can just talk about the game in a free form, like just like nobody ever does this, which is so.
I don't really have a lot of people. I never can just sit there and have people ask me questions and talk to them cause
Wait, don't you
questions like
stream?
that- yeah, but I kind of, if someone asks me a question, I usually just don't read it. I don't, most of the questions
This
are.
is a great plug for your stream right now, by the way.
Oh, yo,
People are loving it.
Twitch.tv/itshighsky. I stream almost every night right now.
Are
But
you
yeah,
gonna be
most of
streaming the event?
questions I might actually. I might stream the other part. Most questions aren't really like, hey, how do I rotate? It's more like, hey, you grew up from 12-year-olds really fast. And it's like, oh, like thanks, man. Like nice. Like, are you blind?
Nice.
You already
Loving
got
it.
dropped off phase? Like, okay.
Oof. Oh, that's great. All right. Thanks so much, Highsky. Thanks for being on the show, man. I'll send you off. Great luck in the events
All right,
today, man.
Yeah,
Have
thank
a-
you guys. Have a good day. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Bye.
Yeah, definitely. You too. All right, Balla. You and me, as the old saying goes.
Just me and you.
There we go.
and me.
There it is.
There a
That's the
song?
one.
I don't know if there is, but anyway.
We don't even know. All right. Well, I had a blast this episode, man. Thanks so much for joining me as always. You got anything spicy, funky, cheesy
Yeah,
coming up?
We're gonna be casting Fishy Cup again on Tuesday, and then we're casting Vanish Solos Cup. So I think it's probably gonna be like one of the first Solos tournaments. That'll be interesting. It'll be done all on my stream or wherever you guys want to watch it, on the Vanish or Benji Fishy streams or whatever. It'll be a good time. Squads again, I think, for Fishy Cup. So better previews for FNCS, and really fun game. So make sure you watch those.
Hell yeah. And what that is on Wednesday? Day before Halloween?
There's Fishy Cup on Tuesday.
Vanish
and
on Wednesday.
Vanish on Wednesday. Yep.
Mhm. And what can we talk a little bit about that first place prize, Balla, for the Vanish Cup? You get
Don't get me
freaking
started, Tim.
What is it? Is it a Lambo or a Ferrari for the weekend? Let's go.
You get to borrow a Ferrari for like a weekend. But only if you're 25 years or older, which is the weirdest. I bet you some, the typical rental car insurance crap.
Psalm's showing up.
Yes, I don't even think Psalm qualifies for that.
Damn it. All right, everyone's taking the
literally
cash.
I think only in the Fortnite community, I think I'm the only person. Me and you are the only people who can qualify for the Ferrari.
How old's Infamous
I
these
don't know
days?
what's going on there. But hey, you know what it does? It makes people talk about the tournament, so it's
Yes.
always fun.
Yeah, and I mean, come on, it's what the company does. You can't knock them for it. It's a clever way to get their foot in this door, right? I applaud them for it. I think it's great. You know, it's not their fault that you have to be 25 or older to zoom around in the car. All right, thanks so much, Balla. I hope you have a fantastic day, man.
Yep. Thank you. You too.
Enjoy it. I always do. Peace, man. All right, guys, that's Hotline FN. That's episode 17. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for those who have and continue to support the show through following us on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter, subscribing where possible. That's huge. It does a lot for us. Does a lot for the show. I repeat it every week, but if there's something you like, whether that's Highsky's streams, it's Balla's analysis, or it's this show right here, you got to support the things you like, right? Supporting them is easy in this day and age. It doesn't even necessarily cost you a dime. Catch you next time on Hotline FN.